I don't even
think
he can edit on iMovie.
I could. I did. I did.
No,
I did. I did.
Yeah, that should be good.
Welcome back, everybody. Finally in person again. Welcome back to episode 22 of the Back Pocket Podcast, as we are finally all in person. Last time we recorded an in-person show was in the summer, and it wasn't even NFL. Last time we recorded it was
soccer.
Yeah. I think we've done, the last time we talked about NFL being in the room with each other was our draft live stream. So it's been quite a minute. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have Suraj Kadali. Some very interesting topics for you guys today. Generally, our weekly podcasts are mostly centered around the previous week of NFL, but this week we're going to be doing kind of more, as the playoffs come, some more wider range topics. So I'm sure you all are all very, very excited for that. As always, we're trying to get 2,000 subscribers. I think we're 30 away. I think we're very close. So if you are new, please subscribe to the channel. Because, as you guys know, if we don't get to 2,000 before New Year's, Suraj is going to strip naked and run. It is if we do. It's if we do.
You guys are going to.
No, it's just you.
No, but you
it's just you.
It's definitely you.
It's just you. So, who doesn't want to see that? Alabama, Michigan. He goes to Michigan. He's going to the game. So
it's it's in California.
So
he's gonna be there.
He's gonna be there. Yeah. So if you get us to 2,000, he will strip naked and run across the field.
Yeah.
I don't know who wouldn't want to see that.
I edited on cap,
maybe, but
I edited on cap cut, so I don't want to hear that.
He doesn't want to hear it.
If there's any people in the tri-state area who are good at media setup, let us know. We could use it, but Dylan was good help.
Yeah,
great intro.
I think
you did. I think you have gotten better. Yeah. Suraj, I think, has gotten worse somehow.
That's not even fair. You didn't tell me to do anything.
Why does he have to tell you to do something?
Exactly.
Why can't you do it on your own?
You told him to do something.
Yeah, because he knows what to expect from me. And you're sitting here, you're watching your Instagram reels. And,
that's valid.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it is valid.
You take it as a joke, oh, haha.
30 minutes to set up. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What could I have done?
What could you have done?
What do you mean, what could you have done?
Could I have done?
I was slaving over this thing for...
Yeah, you could have helped set up the audio.
I was helping that.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
Let's talk football.
Is this even okay?
It just turned into a fight.
Absolutely. No.
Welcome back.
Bar fight.
Not welcome back. Speaking of that, as avid NFL fans as we are, we had quite a game last night between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. I just noticed how incredibly uncomfortable we are going to be because we don't have backrest. So
we can lean back.
Yeah, we can lean back. But speaking of the MVP award, originally when we planned out this episode, we always have a script. And when we planned out this episode, we were kind of Lamar CMC. And we've opened it up. And I want you guys to comment down below who you think is going to win MVP. But when you guys look at this MVP race, and not just who's going to win it, because I do think it's more open this year. But obviously with Lamar's past game, me and Serge, we were listening to a podcast on the way here. It's pretty undeniable that was an MVP performance from Lamar last night. I think Lamar is out, very much the front runner for MVP. But also, you look at, we had 2 weeks where it's I think it's Dak, CMC, Tyreek Hill,
Purdy.
Yeah, I never ever thought that.
I want to take credit for that take because I think
Purdy's going to win MVP.
No, I didn't say Purdy.
I was
saying he was top 15 this whole time. Top 15.
Which, given the circumstances where he was,
I agree. He's top 15.
He was. I always said it.
That's not deniable.
And now people are saying, "Oh, now he's like a bottom 10 quarterback being carried by the system," which I think he's still top 15.
Given the circumstances when we were talking about this, though, he was statistically a top 5 quarterback
but
in
you
every scenario. And obviously you can.
But you could tell he was
to San Francisco. You can. But saying that he was top 15 was disingenuous.
But I said he was top 15 because I'm saying put him in a situation where he has to go with some personnel that can compete weapons like Baltimore clearly can. And I didn't think he would prove that he wasn't a top 10 level quarterback.
That being said, though. How much of this loss do we chalk up to Purdy? And before you really...
I don't. And I was talking to Serge in the car.
No, I don't think it was...
People are saying, 4 interceptions.
I think
two of them were on him.
Two of them were on him, 2 of them weren't.
I agree.
Throwing 2 interceptions in a game as a quarterback is in no way... It happens.
No, I agree.
And I don't even think
I don't even think it's that.
Mistake-free
majority of the
quarterback.
time. Yeah.
I don't even think it's that. I just think that once we saw San Francisco go down to Baltimore, once we saw San Francisco face adversity where Baltimore was able to kind of put up a few stops, limit the rack that San Francisco were really able to have consistently, I think we really saw that Purdy kind of seems a little bit flustered, and I don't think that's something you should see out of someone that's a top 10
quarterback. I want to take credit on my own right because throughout the entire run that San Francisco was having, I said, once we get a good blitzing team, we're going to see what San Francisco can do. And I still think San Francisco is probably the best team in the league.
Oh, yeah.
And Baltimore
Definitely
and Miami
in the
are
NFC.
in there, and Dallas are in there. But
Trying to get Miami in there.
They just beat Dallas in a very important game, but we'll get to that. San Francisco are still one of the best teams in football, if not the best. But everyone said what's going to stop them? And I said a couple of podcasts ago, I said it last podcast too, a good blitzing team is going to be able to at least limit Shanahan, more so than Purdy, Shanahan. And I think we saw that.
Here's what I think. I think this NFL season there's a big emphasis on matchups matter. I think, yes, the Eagles and the Niners are comparable teams, but matchup-wise, the Niners match up a lot better.
Absolutely.
The Eagles have an aging secondary. The Niners have a very, very good receiving core, a receiving running back. And that's, I think, was the same with – and I wouldn't even say that it was as much of that with the Ravens-Niners game. I think it was just more Lamar was so good. And Colin Cowherd said this, and again, a lot of people have very mixed takes with him, but I actually agreed on this. And I generally like him as an analyst. I think he
sucks.
I'm one of the
hates on Miami.
I'm one of the rare. Yeah, he hates Miami. That's why you don't like him. I'm one of the rare. I'm not even rare. I'm someone who generally likes to listen to him. I think he has good things to say here and there. But he just said that Lamar. It's like he's running. It's like he was playing in a Thanksgiving game against his cousins. Like it was just the game against the 49ers, and Lamar does this, and it's not just against the 49ers, against most teams. It's just like it's too easy for him.
Yeah.
He's like running at half speed. And that's honestly what I think, and just back to that, just like matchup-wise, I think has formed this MVP conversation so much because we see Brock Purdy go and destroy an Eagles team in Philadelphia, and it's like, okay, Brock Purdy should be the MVP. Brock Purdy should be in that conversation. And not to say that I'm a Brock Purdy hater, but I never thought Brock Purdy is good because of where he is, and we've talked about this all the time, and I think people cannot deny this. Brock Purdy is the quarterback he is because of the system he's in.
So I would agree with you to an extent because it's undeniable that he's a good quarterback in the system, first off. And that's like what I want to get out of the way, first of all. Even if he was even if the system is what makes him a great quarterback, I would say he's a good quarterback anywhere else because he has the traits. I think
he's a guy.
You
know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, yeah. But, like, I think if you went into Tampa, I think he'd do a similar job to what Baker Mayfield is doing.
I don't think he has the arm though what Baker has to like.
Yeah, but you look at the weapons.
I think Baker's able to like.
I think at this point that's a starting caliber quarterback, and I think that's what he is. In San Francisco, it elevates him to a superstar. But I think where he isn't really that important when it comes to MVP. Because you're gonna say he has McCaffrey, he has Deebo Samuel,
Ayuk, Kittle,
which raises the question: is it a quarterback award?
Oh yeah, it is a quarterback. It's a polarizing award.
Absolutely.
It's an award like I think it's a great take, and some people say it's like Cam Newton, Carson Palmer in the MVP year. Cam Newton won it. Palmer was leading in all advanced statistics, but that's when like the dab was a thing, and that's when and again that's not why he won MVP, but like you look at how well Cam Newton played in that season and just how the eye test, right? Like I think stats only go a certain amount, and that's why I think guys like Tua and Brock Purdy, I just don't think they're in the same breath as guys like Lamar Jackson.
So Lamar, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to defend Tua to the death of me, but I think Lamar Jackson's the clear and away MVP favorite right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And as much as I want to say that a position player should win it, because I think Tyreek Hill's been phenomenal, I think Christian McCaffrey's been phenomenal, Myles Garrett I've been giving props the entire season to. Right. He's incredible. But the teams that are in playoff spots right now, none of them have a backup quarterback except for Cleveland. Every other team that's in a playoff spot has their starting quarterback in. Oh, and Indianapolis. But it's the teams that have their quarterbacks healthy are the teams that are winning. So doesn't that mean that the quarterback is the most valuable position?
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue.
I think we always knew that.
Yeah, but when we're looking at most valuable player.
Yeah.
I think Tyreek Hill sitting down and Tua sitting down, I think Tua sitting down is the more valuable impact play. Same thing goes with Brock Purdy sitting down and Christian McCaffrey sitting down. I think if Brock Purdy sat down, San Francisco would suffer more than if Christian McCaffrey.
I disagree because we saw Sam Darnold go into that game, and albeit it's garbage time. I will say that. I will say that. But at the same time, it was.
I agree with you more with the Niners take. I think the Dolphins will be worse without Tyreek.
I mean, they went into the game against the Jets without Tyreek Hill, and they absolutely wiped the floor with them.
I think that's more a Mike McDaniel thing, though.
Are we really discrediting now? Are we really discrediting?
I mean, Tua only threw the ball like 8 times, but 8 times beyond like the 10 yards.
30 times through the ball. The passing game was
but I'm saying, but like it was very relevant, but it was also like a more.
I think it
was a very horizontal
offense.
No, exactly, but a horizontal offense I feel like says less about the quarterback as it does about the weapons of the play call.
I disagree with that, and I know where you're coming from because it is a lot of rack, and it's always going to be a lot of rack. But
I don't even think it's about rack. I just think it's about exactly.
No, but there's a point to be made. But in the Jets game specifically, the emphasis on the game was to get away from Sauce Gardner.
Going back to the Purdy discussion, I think that he was. Again, I think he did have a bit. I don't think he was as bad as the stat line really projects.
He was bad though.
I think he was bad, and that's why I'm like taking credit for it. But I don't think he was like awful. Like he deserved to I don't think every play deserves to be like a turnover as his stat line suggests.
I think the turnovers are obviously drawing the most clicks or whatever.
That's what the thing is. It's like these people who don't watch the game and then they just obviously us. If we see someone through 4 picks, we're like, okay, they're probably not playing well, but. The first Kyle Hamilton pick was his fault. That was bad read. Good play by Kyle Hamilton.
He forced it in where he couldn't have.
The second one, not his fault. The third pick, not his fault.
I would actually make the argument that the second one was on him.
I don't think so.
I would say the third one. I think both the Kyle Hamilton ones were. Where he tried to
the Kyle Hamilton Kittle dropped that one.
No, the second Kyle Hamilton one, it was batted in the air and picked off.
But he tried to steal long. He threw it to where he wasn't open.
On the screen route. And I watch a West Coast style offense every week. I know you catch the ball, you throw the ball. He took maybe a second and a half too long to throw that ball on the screen. That
shows how quick the NFL is.
I think, but I want to really give a lot of credit to the Ravens, particularly that defense, because it's what's really fascinating to me about the Ravens defense, which I think is the best in the NFL.
Yeah,
I would say so. I know you think the Browns,
I think Cleveland and I think they're 1A, 1B.
But what's interesting?
MVP?
What
you're saying that they're going to?
Yeah, Ravens. I mean, it's so hard to give MVP in such a team-oriented sport. But
really
what I will say about the Ravens defense that really interests me is that the strength of their team is in the positions that are considered now in the modern NFL that are as important. Matabike, tackle, Queen the reason here's what I will say. When we talked about matchups, one of the interesting things to me is that the reason why the Ravens won was not because of their secondary. Well, Kyle Hamilton, but it was because of their linebackers. Roquan Smith has been probably one of the best trades in the past few years for any team because he completely transformed that Ravens defense.
And it's funny, I really haven't noticed that, but when you watch the games, it's like
if you see all the statistics, I think they're the best. I think they're better than Warner.
Slow first 2 years.
No, but I think they're better than Warner and Greenlaw this year. They've been better.
I wouldn't make that
this year
yet.
I would say this year.
I mean, you have two.
I think Roquan's been better than Warner, but I think Greenlaw's also been better than Warner this year. I think he's been unbelievable. But I think
Queen.
Been unbelievable for several.
But Queen has been amazing, and he was playing injured too. That game, you could see a couple times he was grabbing at his shoulder. He was clearly playing injured. Kyle Hamilton, he's
playing injured.
He's honestly making. I know he's not going to win it, obviously, but he's making kind of a very low key case for Defensive Player of the Year. He's been that good.
But watching that secondary yesterday. That's Baltimore secondary where it's Stevens and Humphrey across each other.
Humphrey had a great game. I was very impressed.
The safety core is Marcus Williams and Hamilton, and Geno Stone isn't even on the field all the time. And he has 6 interceptions this season. It's an incredibly deep defense. And that's what really is going to go into the playoffs and win you games in cold scenarios. In any scenario, you need players at every spot on the field. And even the wide receiver core. Aguilar caught a touchdown yesterday. Odell caught an important pass yesterday. Isaiah Likely's been playing every play for the past few weeks, and he's playing.
Zay Flowers is a star.
And they're going to get Mark Andrews back.
Is he going to be back?
He will be back playoffs.
Which is scary. I mean, that's
huge play.
Because Lamar is doing this with kind of average. Because one of the cases people
that's
made.
Crazy. Not average. He has
I would say average. No,
he has a very deep receiving.
Yeah, but no, I wouldn't say he's.
And as much as people want to give him, and I'm giving him credit, the air game is the secondary aspect.
But here's what I'll say. I think when you try to make the argument that Lamar shouldn't be MVP because he has the counting stats, what I would say to that is that he doesn't have. I think nowadays more than ever, it's so crucial to have a receiver one to kind of have like an elite passing game. And I love Zay Flowers. I love him, but I don't
Zay
think
Flowers this year is that though.
I love Zay, but I think 700 like. Was like 700
yards wise. He doesn't add up, but you have to.
No. If you know eye test, no, I think eye test he definitely passes it. I just don't think yet he's at that receiver one level.
No, he's
but
not.
Lamar, I think, is elevating that
Teams are
cast.
still lining up their cornerback one. Like Charvarius Ward was lining up with Odell.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think Odell is. I think
they have
got the big playability.
I think they've got a definitely like probably the best set of weapons Lamar has ever had in his career. But that's not even saying that much. And I think I'd say it's average. I wouldn't say it's bad like it's been in previous years.
Average.
But I think he's elevating an average cast compared to when he had to elevate one of the worst like receiving, running.
I wouldn't say it's average. You have a Hall of Fame receiver in Odell Beckham. Zay Flowers.
Yeah, but Odell, he's not. I think he's an efficient receiver.
Yeah,
He's a good efficient receiver, but I wouldn't say he's like. I'd say he's a capable receiver too. I would say.
So we all agree right now Lamar's the MVP, correct?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yes, close.
Well, where's your contention then?
The only contention, again, I hate to say it because it's kind of contradictory, but the problem is the counting stats. That's the only problem, and eye test completely disproves that, in my opinion. But I just think it's hard to kind of. I know it's a weak MVP year, but it's just hard to give MVP to someone who doesn't have the gaudy stats that we see almost every other year.
This year we've thrown Mahomes out the window, Hurts out the window, Herbert and Burrow have been hurt, but both of them are out the window.
Allen's kind of people are trying to.
Allen's out the window.
No,
I see people are trying. I think the stupidest the most stupid argument for me is Allen should win it because he has the most touchdowns. Because all of them,
insane.
I think he's.
It's like saying Hurts should win it because he has the most. It's.
I just think the problem with that is that I think Allen's obviously probably one of the biggest quarterbacks and toughest quarterbacks to bring down, but I don't think being an elite inside the 5-yard quarterback is that relevant when you're going to score most of the time there anyways.
And let's keep it real. This Bills team is succeeding more now because the ball is out of his hands. They were struggling when he was the head of the offense. Now he is not the head of the offense, and
I think James Cook emerging into being one of the best running backs in the league has been huge for that offense. I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he was clearly kind of just.
Okay, the James Cook had one good game.
No, he's over 1,000 yards.
He's the third leading rusher in the league right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think one of the best. Yeah, I guess. I was a huge James Cook fan because I think the similarities between him and Dalvin are like incredibly obvious. Like you can see that hesitation.
Dalvin Cook.
I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, no, but I guess I mean the different dimensions of the Bills' offense is definitely. I mean, again, something we talked about that just came absolutely out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move on to our next topic, and as I don't have my computer, I have to.
It is the Bills, though. It is the Bills.
Yeah,
so it's a good time. So we'll continue.
Yeah, so here's me and Dylan, I feel like, are kind of similar in a certain aspect and different. So what I will say is I agree with you that I think not having Josh Allen throw the ball 80% of the time has definitely significantly helped this team because
let me frame the topic, and that is, do we think the Bills are the most scary team in the NFL?
Absolutely not.
Not
Absolutely
the most scary. Not the scariest.
I don't think they're top 5.
I wouldn't want.
Who's your 5?
So my 5 would be Philadelphia.
I swear to God, if Miami are ahead of them.
Miami is definitely in it.
That's
like 100%.
No, they're not.
They've won 11 games this season. They just beat a contender for the first time. They're absolutely in it.
A contender, Dak, who doesn't win away.
Dallas
didn't have a run game.
Dallas are in it too.
I think home field has so much to do with it. I wouldn't want to see Miami
win out, which is very possible. They have the 1 seed through the AFC.
I think the Bills are going to wipe the floor with you when they play.
I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see when that happens. I think the 5 teams that are more scary than Buffalo right now, and I think there might be even more. I think Philadelphia. I think San Francisco, I think Dallas, I think Miami, and I think Baltimore. I think
Philly is the one that's tough to say, just because I'm really just not convinced by their defense.
No, but I think
Dallas objectively are not, because Dak is a worse quarterback. Tony Pollard is not an RB1.
I would make the argument that Dak and Josh Allen are very similar, at least this year.
Not.
I mean, specifically this year, I think Dak's better.
Dak's a B+ quarterback. Allen's an A+.
I don't think Allen's an A+, though. I think he's
not a B+.
I think he's a B.
Yeah, that's insanity.
I think this year he's played to a B level, and I think he's being kind of over.
He hasn't.
He has this year.
He absolutely.
His turnover is. I think I understand that. Obviously, sometimes turnovers
are so misleading.
It's really not though, because when you look at his turnovers, they are all his fault.
I would say everyone, but I would say
so are Tua's, but you have them ahead, and you don't have a running back.
But there's less turnover. We don't have a running back. We have the best rushing offense in the football league.
I don't
in
think
the football league.
I don't know why
No,
I
you
said it.
don't. The Ravens do.
Raheem Mostert's the 4th leading rusher, and Achane is, I think, the 11th leading rusher.
Yeah, and what is...
Achane has played like 6 games this season.
Yeah, but who is Cook? Cook's the 3rd.
But when you put them together, that significantly outweighs.
I don't think so. I think the Bills have a better...
Either way, the Dolphins have the best passing offense in the league.
I don't think that's true either.
It is like
Yeah, no, I would
I don't
say
care about the stats. I don't think that that's true eye test wise.
I think
eye test wise, it definitely is
I
true
don't
because
think it
how do
is.
you guard Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill?
Jalen Waddle hasn't been that good.
Waddle sadly is
The 1,000 yards. Let's be honest. The 1,000 yards. Okay, it's a great stat. Mike Evans is 1,000 yards. We get 1,000 yards every season.
Mike Evans.
Actually, no, that's a terrible
like,
argument.
always elite though.
Yeah, but
Like,
Mike Evans is so
I
underrated.
think the 1,000-yard stat is.
but you can't say it's not scary when they're both fast. The fastest
Yeah, no, obviously.
receivers ever, pretty much. And,
I just think one thing that's been, I think, weird about Miami is that they haven't really utilized that as much as, because I feel like they've almost kind of frozen out their wide receiver 2 more, made them kind of
No,
just
it's true.
like
It's
where
true.
they've kind of tried to force feed receiver 1, where we saw it was obviously Tyreek almost all year until he was injured against the Jets, where it was Waddle, which obviously made more sense. But I think then you see kind of, when he goes down and Waddle's in, you see kind of, when Tyreek's back in, they kind of not ignore Waddle necessarily, but they make him kind of like he's the same as like Cedric Wilson or
No, I
River
know where you're
Craycraft,
coming from,
where
but-
I thought maybe they could utilize both of them as like kind of not equivalent pieces, because obviously Tyreek is a different level, but I think Waddle definitely could have a higher volume in this offense.
So I know where you're coming from, and I agree with you to an extent that Waddle's going to be out probably for a few weeks now.
Is he going to be back for playoffs?
I think he's back for playoffs. For sure.
Okay.
But it's to an extent I agree with you, but you also have to take into effect that while he might not be, he's lighting the stat sheet in my opinion because he has over 1,000 yards this year. He's not scoring that many touchdowns, but he's very important. Having Jalen Waddle as a decoy receiver is one of the most important things you can have on your offense because you're opening the field up to everyone, and it's making the screen passes to Achane and Mostert possible. It's leaving Tyreek Hill more open than possible. It's making Smythe and Cedric Wilson viable options, and I want to give credit there to McDaniel for involving Smythe and Cedric Wilson in that last drive because everyone was watching Tyreek Hill. Everyone was watching Mostert. They got down the field because of Jeff Wilson, Durham Smythe, Tua Tagovailoa, and Cedric Wilson on that drive. That's really what happened on that last drive. So saying the weapons are the most important thing, I think the quarterback and the weapons are the most important thing. But also having the ability to scheme anything because your coach is a genius. That's what makes that team so scary.
That's what
And
I'm saying.
also,
That's why I
defense
think
being elite now.
that's what I think. That's the funny thing. I think honestly having a coach like McDaniel who's so kind of, I think, innovative and is so willing to kind of, obviously any coach should use the main strength of their team, but is so good at it and it makes it almost impossible to guard someone like Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle because they're consistently in motion. They're consistently kind of having that advantage that is basically unfair, but like obviously legal. I think that's kind of the most scary thing about this Dolphins team because not only do they have the weapons, not only do they have, I'd say Tua is a solid quarterback, he's top 10, but they have a coach that's willing to kind of maximize that. And I think if you replace him with just kind of a different head coach, this offense looks a lot different.
I'm just not as I just am not as worried of the Dolphins because, and this is kind of goes with every NFL team. Like, it's not like no one's figured them out. The Bills absolutely wiped the floor with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can give you an explanation for each of the losses, but I feel like that's
But Dylan, there's an explanation for every team losing.
no. I know.
But
I know. That's what I was about to say though. It's redundant to just have this argument about the games that have been played. But going forward, I think Miami struggled with Josh Allen more than they have with the Bills' defense or the Bills.
But that's objectively not true when you look at the game in Buffalo. Tua was killed the entire game.
Tua was hounded, but this is a very different offense and a very different defense. Now, the Dolphins' defense has gone...
Well, the offense was like kind of
How
the
is it-
same.
No,
level.
it
I don't
wasn't.
know.
It was a completely different offensive line.
I don't see how...
Well, the offensive
what
line's
do you mean?
worse now.
They
I
didn't change their
disagree,
entire
Really?
offense.
Funnily enough, I actually...
Really?
Yeah, I think Lester Cotton's a better guard starting than Isaiah Wynn now. I think Kendall Lamb on the right side over Austin Jackson, he had the best game I've seen any tackle have all season against Micah Parsons of all players last weekend.
Mike had a few. Micah got
Of course, it's Micah Parsons, but he had a great game. Teron Armstead is fully healthy now. He's playing great football again.
He's a guy you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would...
But-
Yeah.
Let's talk about Buffalo.
Yeah, no, because here's what I want to get to. Because I've been giving Miami their props, but now here's the problem. Buffalo, I think, one of the scariest things about them is that they're getting healthy. one of their key players coming back, Daquan Jones.
Yeah, that's that.
He was probably their best defensive player before he went down, I would say.
When did he go down? I swear he played last week.
Early, no.
Oh, no.
Well, no,
Who's the other
he was just
defensive tackle?
activated.
Draymond Jones, right?
Yeah, Draymond.
No,
Jones.
he's on the
Or no,
he's on the Seahawks.
Yeah, no, it's
He was 98 at Oliver. That's one. Yep.
But Daquan Jones, that's huge for them. Milano, I think he's going to be back playoff time.
Milano was having a terrible season before he went down.
Was he? I actually don't know.
He was playing.
But
I think Rousseau has been very good.
Rousseau.
I
Yeah,
mean, that Miami game, he had what, 3 sacks, 2 sacks.
Mhm. I think Buffalo, one of the scariest things also is that I think their offense is clicking at the right time with kind of integrating the run game. I think if you put Josh Allen in a situation where he isn't throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game, he is a top 3 quarterback in the
We're looking at
league.
the Chargers game this weekend, right? They won the game. So they're giving the Bills props for getting on their streak, but that was a terribly played game by that team. They played very badly, objectively.
I agree.
And I feel like that's kind of getting brushed aside because they've won 3 straight now.
And I think the problem is in the NFL, it's like a win's a win.
Wins are paramount.
It's not like college where like if you're favored by 9.5, that
course.
automatically
Wins
means
are
you're
paramount,
winning.
but it's a narrative game because if a team like Dallas loses, plays a tough game against the Chargers, Dallas is crucified. But Buffalo, they go out and they get a gritty win. I feel like it's a narrative game almost.
I see your point there, but I just think what we've seen with them against teams like it's tough to say Kansas City,
fraudulent, and
but they're still a playoff team. They're gonna be a playoff team. Let's
2 losses, all that needs.
They're still good.
2
Yeah,
losses.
even 2 losses, they're still gonna make it.
They won't. If they lose both games, Vegas or Denver win both games, which is probably gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think probably.
Because Vegas.
Denver did not look good.
No, I know, but Vegas play Denver in Week 18. Vegas have the Vegas.
No, they don't have the
Vegas
Jets.
have. I don't remember who Vegas have this week.
Either way, also the
No,
Chiefs.
Vegas have
Either way,
Oh, no, they have Colts.
the
Yeah,
Chiefs
sorry.
also have the Chargers.
Yeah,
They're gonna make it.
The Chiefs have been possibly the worst team in football for the past 3 weeks.
Okay,
Like,
that-
very
Well, let's
possible.
continue.
No.
That's going on to the next. That's our next
That's-
topic here with the Chiefs, and just, I mean, I think, and I think we've been saying this. They need to get a receiving court. That is, I think the problem.
I actually think it's past that now.
I don't think it is.
I think it's past that. I think the offensive line needs to be completely redone.
I think the interior is fine. I just think the tackles
I
are just some of the
I
worst in the
100%
league.
disagree. I think the Chiefs would be a Super Bowl contender if they had Tyreek Hill. And I know that's
Oh,
a great,
yeah.
all right, that's a great. Okay, that's what I mean. I mean a receiver like I think.
Like a 1A receiver. Like
Yeah, no, but I
Do
think
you see these dudes he's throwing to? Like these white 4th string tight ends. The guy who threw that touchdown to he ran around.
Respect Gray.
No, I don't respect him.
Noah Gray.
Goddamn
But-
suck.
But
And he
Blake
is not,
Bell
like,
is terrible.
his best receiver is Rasheed Rice, who was a
I like
4th round
Rasheed, but
pick
yeah,
from SMU
yeah.
playing in the AAC.
But I think it's past that at this point because I think this entire team and
I think the
stack
scary
has
scary
gone
thing is like Andy Reid, who's consistently considered one of the best coaches
And
in the
I'm
league.
not gonna shadow away blame from Mahomes because I think he's been playing pretty bad.
I think that was his worst game of the
Yeah,
season.
I agree.
But I think also at the
think
same
you
time
can't
you can
watch that
clearly
game,
see.
see what he is doing and say, "Oh, that's on Mahomes." He has no one to throw the
But
ball.
if you
to.
also-
in the prerequisites you can't because you see what he can do when he's
And it's
given
against
ample
I wouldn't even say, but I
a
wouldn't
Raiders
even.
secondary that is consistently one of the worst in the league.
I think their defense has been
The
fine
defense
this year.
Since Antonio Pierce has taken the helmet, he better get that job.
He's
next
gonna get
year.
it. I think
Better get.
they're
it.
not gonna. They're not.
Stop
Gonna, yeah,
getting it,
exactly.
But he better get that.
Here's what I think.
Actually, the pick six was 100% Mahomes.
I
That
think
was a
I
terrible
understand that also. Obviously, a lot of his prerequisites. But what I will say is that I think even without those, you can tell that the Chiefs are leading the league in drops. You can see that they're also, besides Rasheed Rice, I wouldn't really say there's anyone there that you could rely on even getting separation.
in no
You're
way is
seeing
it Mahomes'
coaching.
fault,
You're seeing,
but-
yeah, but I'm saying even with the
He
I
is a
can't
part
talk.
of
I
the
can't say
problem this season.
prerequisites.
But
But
I just don't think that's true.
I absolutely think.
I think if you put a receiver one, look at them, their Super Bowl era. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1, Travis Kelce, compliment to that, McCole Hardman, compliment to that.
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins. Yeah,
Sammy
Mecole Hardman was a fantastic receiver. in
Mecole
his-
Hardman and Sammy Watkins could be on that team right now if they were good enough. I truly think so.
What-
I mean,
what does that
Mecole-
mean?
Sammy Watkins
Yeah.
now.
I mean, who else? Who does he have to beat out? MVS.
No.
Is he even in the NFL?
I'm saying in the prime Chiefs, when they won that Super Bowl, they had a receiving core that was led by Tyreek Hill, and then you had guys around him that weren't Rashee Rice and Eric
But last
Gray.
year they won with Juju Smith-Schuster as their wide receiver.
Juju Smith-Schuster was fantastic.
He was good last year.
He was. Yeah, I think Juju
Juju Smith-Schuster is a, as much as people want to hate on him, is miles better than any receiver on the Chiefs right now.
Rice is better. Rice is definitely.
You think that because he's playing terrible on the Patriots, if he hadn't left, he would be.
No, I agree with Kean there. I think Juju was like I think the most important thing about him is that he wasn't someone that dropped passes consistently. And as much as I like what Rashee has done this year, he's also been someone that's been prone to a lot of mental errors.
Rashee also is apparently wants to be a punter.
What?
Wait, what?
I'm joking.
Okay. I was confused for a minute.
Kean's intrusive thoughts. That's the first of many.
No, but I think it's disingenuous, and I'm going to say it again, is if you shadow Mahomes away from all blame. Because he's...
No, I don't think he deserves all blame. That's what I'm saying. I think that was the worst.
Every year.
I think that was one of the worst games I've ever seen Mahomes play. But at the
Pick
same
six
time...
was extremely un-Mahomes.
Yeah, that
lofted
was...
ball, pretty obviously was going to get picked off.
Bad read.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, even in one of his worst games ever, you can still see how much he's being held back by that team. Did you see that clip where it's they show that the Chiefs have the most drop passes in the entire NFL, and he throws to Kelsey and he drops the pass?
Yeah.
I think it really is just a microcosm of kind of how much the Chiefs. I think everyone knows that this season is not on Mahomes. It's more of a microcosm of how they failed around him. But he's not. No, he's not absolved of total blame.
Absolutely.
I think this has also been his worst season.
Yeah.
But I think it's not a coincidence that it goes hand in hand with.
No, definitely.
Well, let's move on. Not move on, but sorry, excuse me. I mean, do we think they're a wild card exit? Because I think they are.
I absolutely think they are. I think whoever they play will be.
I think they're playing Buffalo, so I think they'll lose that. Definitely.
Yeah.
We
And
saw
also,
what Buffalo.
I think they could have been a team who, if they had started like this, would not be a play in the playoffs.
I mean,
Oh, no, they wouldn't.
I was saying it just now. There's a scenario that they don't make.
They come on. They're not going to lose to Easton Stick at the Chargers.
Bills almost did, and I think the Bills are somehow better than the Chiefs.
Okay, somehow is crazy because the Bills have been good this year.
God forbid Dylan gives praise to the Bills.
I never will.
Yeah. But
never praise division rivals.
I'd like to talk about our AFC wildcard team. Speaking of that,
so I think the Browns and the Bills now are.
Let's go through it. Give me your wild card.
So I'll give you the full,
and then we'll discuss
thing.
it.
I think the Ravens take the AFC. The Dolphins come second. The third seed will be Jacksonville or whoever wins.
Jacksonville
without T-Law actually.
I think T-Law will be fine. I just think more that not totally fine, but he's going to be playing still injured, and they've looked terrible.
It's whoever wins the AFC South will be third, and then the Chiefs will.
The Chiefs are still going to get the 3
the Chiefs
seed.
are going to lose to the Bengals this week. I know it.
I could totally see that, but I still think I think 10-7 is still good enough for the 3 seed.
Here's what I'll say. I actually think, and I'm looking at the thing right now. I think so. Currently, if the season were to end today, like Dylan said, Ravens are the 1st seed, Dolphins are the 2 seed, Chiefs are 3, Jaguars are 4, Browns are 5, Bills are 6, Colts are 7. I could see that not changing. Here's what I will say. And Dylan, did you give your full one?
I was getting to the wild
Sorry,
card.
keep going.
I think I'll give the Jags the 3 seed. I'll give the Chiefs the 4 seed. The 5 seed's going to be Cleveland because I think they can win out. The 6 seed is going to be Buffalo, and the 7 seed is going to be, I believe, Indianapolis. I think that's how it's going to end.
That's okay. That's exactly how it is now. Here's what I will say. I actually think it'll be very similar. I think because the Browns could. I think it'll be. I think the Jaguars are going to fall.
Okay. I mean, any of those teams, Texans, Colts, Jaguars, any of them can win the division, and I think that's reasonable.
I think it'll be Ravens 1 seed, Dolphins 2 seed. I think it'll stay. Bills.
Can't be the 3.
No. I'm not saying Bills 3.
They could be 3. Oh no, Dolphins.
No. I think, and the Browns can't be 3. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of does really leave. I think it'll be. I think the Chiefs will stay at 3. I think the Browns at 4.
Browns
No,
not. Yeah, they can't. Oh no, Ravens are 1. I was gonna say, do I think the Texans with C.J. Stroud back could jump to 4?
I absolutely think that's possible. Yeah.
And I think that's what I'll go with. I think I'll go the Texans at 4. Which is insanity right now. I think the Browns stay at 5. Bills stay at 6. I think the Jaguars miss it, and I think the Colts stay at 7.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Adds a little flavor to it. I like that.
So I'm looking at the schedule, and this really pains me to admit it. I actually think the Dolphins are going to get the 1 seed.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the reason
we went out, baby.
the reason why
we went out?
I'm giving praise. It's already sickening.
down.
So let me just say why.
No, I never get
The reason why I say this is because
Come
I
on,
think if the
Serge.
no, I don't like saying it, but I think if the Ravens lost yesterday, I would have picked them to win. But they're coming off a short week, traveling across the country to another elite team,
And
and
obviously with Rasheed Rice wanting to be a punter, it changes.
exactly. But I just think it's just not even a trap game because Miami are a great team, but I just think it's just so just screams Miami are going to win that. And I hate to say it. I really don't want it to happen. I just think they're going to win that. And I think I could see the funny thing is I could also see that and then I could see Miami
can't say
losing the
that's
very
crazy. I could see it happening, but I think not even me hating on the Dolphins. I think the Ravens will be the 1 seed just because if they play like that.
I think the Ravens are better. I think the Ravens are a better
I
team.
think
I think the Ravens are a better team, but I think Miami would win that. But then, funny enough, I could see them losing the next week to Buffalo. But then again, Miami's home field track record speaks for
I mean,
itself.
the Patriots could be.
So I think I'm gonna pick Miami to be the 1 seed. I'd hate that.
Charlie J.
And then Baltimore will be the 2 seed. I think the Chiefs are the 3 seed just because I think their schedule is just too easy.
Yeah,
They're gonna lose to the Bengals. I'm so.
I can see that happening.
I'm so confident.
I think they'll win, but even if they don't, 10-7 is good enough for the 3 seed.
Maybe.
And then
And
4
Burrow's
seed.
not coming back. What do?
Browning. It's Browning.
No, I know. I'm just wondering the timeline of Burrow if the Bengals were to sneak in.
No, he's out.
No, right?
He's
He has a
out.
broken finger.
No, wrist.
Oh,
Sprained-
wrist.
Like, tore a ligament in his
Yeah,
wrist.
he's done.
Jesus.
He might be he's gonna be back. Second week of training camp next week?
Really?
Oh, what
Yeah.
is it that bad of an injury?
No,
I mean,
bad
that's a tough
Really?
injury.
Throwing hand. Ligament,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But
It's like you're gonna have to relearn how to throw the
Yeah,
ball.
like-
but 4 seed, again, the Jaguars have been really bad, but looking at their schedule, they have the Panthers and then they have the Titans.
The Panthers just play the Packers tough, and they just beat the.
Okay, but that's just Joe
Panthers
Barry.
won.
But that's Joe Barry being one of the worst defensive coordinators in the league. They'll win that. They'll beat against. I think the Titans is sneaky upset pick, but I think if Levis isn't there, I think they'll win that.
Yeah.
10-7, they'll win the division. I think Browns. Yeah, Titans.
You think Titans will win the
No,
division?
no. Jags. Jags will win the division.
I think Texans will. I don't
Texans
know.
Can. The Texans.
I
can.
forgot
No, the
every
Texans
single-
absolutely
What's
can.
the Titans record right now?
I just
Texans
think.
are like 6-10. They're not.
I just think the Jags are
Wait,
clearly.
they're out of it. They're.
Yeah, yeah.
I just think the Jags have such an easy final 2 games that they're gonna win the division by default.
I think they lose to the Texans.
Well, let's be. I mean, let's go into the next topic. We're talking AFC South.
Well, wait, I'm just to finish my
Yeah,
teams.
Sorry, we always somehow just go in without.
neglected child.
Damn. I mean,
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying we always somehow especially this podcast, we just seamlessly go into the next
Next topic, yeah.
But I will say 5
It
seed.
has just worked like.
And Rasheed Rice is
Yeah.
crazy.
I say 5 seed. I'm gonna
I
say
know why I started saying that. It's not funny.
okay. 5 seed Browns, 6 seed Bills, 7 seed.
Give me
I'm-
Texans. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Texans.
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
say Texans because I think their schedule is also easy. I think I was checking there. Oh, they have the Colts second to last. I think they have the
So,
Titans.
Would
the
you
Titans
rather
and
have Stroud or
Colts.
Tua?
I would rather have Tua, but it's close.
Stroud.
All right, I actually
take
respected
Stroud.
that.
I take Stroud.
If you said Stroud, I'd be shocked, but I actually respect that.
No,
too.
I'm a big fan of CJ Stroud. Right
He
now.
is. So you had him at 1, right? In our
Yeah,
rankings?
number 1 overall prospect.
I had him
That was
at
one of
2,
my
calm
best
down. I had him
takes.
at 2.
But
Oh, you had him
QB1.
1 overall.
1 overall.
I actually had
1
the
overall.
Draft, I had the draft order exactly right.
What do you mean?
I did not miss a single pick in the entire 7 rounds.
Dude, imagine someone did that.
That would be insane. But
Yeah, Texans 7, just because I think the Jags and the Texans both have easier run-ins. I think the Texans are suited to kind of also maybe even be a tricky first-round matchup because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I
oh,
like what
100%.
I like what Demeco is building. Even though they lost,
Give
I
me the
think
Tank that
Stroud is definitely a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. I think if Tank was
Give me
still
Tank Dell's
healthy,
love. Give me love for that. Tank.
no, that was a good
We
pick.
tried
But
to
I
get
think,
him on the show actually. That would have been
Really?
crazy, and then he had
Oh,
that
yeah.
season.
but I
So-
think with Tank Dell, I think if he was healthy, the Texans would honestly be my sleeper for a deep run in the playoffs. But I think
completely
now,
agree.
okay, so
But I think the
defensively
problem
they're still
now-
weak, though.
so none of us have the Steelers or the Bengals in the playoffs.
The Steelers are terrible.
The Steelers just went out
They-
and they won
No.
against the Bengals, who have been pretty good even with Jake Browning in. And then
feed George Pickens.
yeah,
Yeah,
Feed George
jeez.
Pickens.
So they-
And that was such a cold celebration.
they
Where
are now
like
8
it's like
and 7.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals are now 8 and 7. If I'm not wrong, are
Yeah.
they 7 and 8?
They're
Eight,
8
seven.
So both of them are 8 and 7. I think the Bengals win this week and take it to 9 and 7. But then they lose to the Ravens in the final day,
no, they don't play the Ravens.
Yeah.
Steelers play the Ravens.
or they lose to the Browns in the final day. So I think that falls to 9 and 8, and I just don't think their divisional record is good enough. But
Yeah.
it's just going to be a really exciting AFC wildcard race. Everything in the AFC is super exciting because you look at it, every division could potentially have a division clinching game in the last game of the season.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's gonna be a really good.
That's
last
crazy because like Joe Flacco technically still could
Yeah.
be the quarterback of the top team in the AFC.
Yeah.
If like a lot of
If
shit
a
goes
lot
right.
of stuff goes wrong.
But you know.
It really
right
doesn't
for
even
them.
have to
Right
go
for
that
them.
wrong. I mean, Baltimore just have to lose out, which
How do you
is
feel
not
like he was
that
on the
insane.
Jets?
I'm honestly not bothered by that at all because if he played behind our offensive line, he would be dead.
No, like the
He's
Ravens.
like a grandfather.
The
I
Ravens have to
understand.
lose to the Dolphins and lose to the Steelers, which is
The
not
Steelers,
that,
the
it's not
Steelers
that
have
unbelievable.
historically, like recently,
that-
have
Yeah,
owned
actually,
the
that
Ravens.
actually isn't
The
that
Browns have
crazy.
to win out. That's all.
But
that
I
needs to
also
happen.
think the Steelers are just like
who the
this
Browns
thing
have?
they'll
They have-
have.
They have the Jets and the Bengals. It's not. It's
They're gonna wipe the floor.
But I feel like
really not
but
that
the-
I
unbelievable.
could see the Jets beating the Browns. Though.
I could see that too. No,
No.
I could
just
definitely
because
see
of
that.
our defense, I could see that.
The Browns
happening.
have gone out and beat every team they've played with Joe Flacco in.
But the
No,
difference
let's-
is they haven't
let's-
faced his
let's-
defense
let's
as good
go
as the
down
Jets.
memory lane of the NFL this season. Is anything out of the?
No,
out of the
nothing's
picture?
out of the. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think I could see it happening. I don't think it will, but I just think it's
Yeah.
possible because the Jets have a great defense that you're familiar with, and they have two. Not even torch, just because of our offense. But then they also have two superstar weapons that individually can make a play happen any place on the field. But I don't think they will win, but it's possible.
All right. So I don't think we had the NFC on the docket today, did we? Like at all?
We didn't.
No, we didn't. It was all AFC.
AFC.
But I would like to raise the question because we just went through the AFC playoffs. Let's go through the NFC playoffs.
Let's go through it. Let's
Alright.
because we don't need to talk about AFC South. It's boring.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about it,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Let's go. NFC's I think a very different picture.
Yeah.
Yep. Should I go?
Niners will be the
I think
one
I
seed.
got mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Eagles will be 2.
Okay.
Who will be 3?
So
Lions.
Yeah.
4. I'm trying to think. What is the picture right now? Let me look it
Bucks.
up.
Bucks
One
are
of you
8-7.
The Bucks are very.
I think they're both
comfortably now.
out. Yeah. And
Wow,
the Bucks
good for
actually
the Bucks, honestly.
no, and for the first time, I feel like a team in the NFC South is actually worthy of making the playoffs.
Yeah, no,
the way
that
the
team-
Bucks.
Oh
are
yeah,
playing.
sorry. So just for our viewers, currently, these are all teams that have clinched. Wow, there's a lot more in the NFC. I didn't even know that. The 1 is the Niners, 2 is the Lions, 3 is the Eagles.
That's
and
the
then,
current standing.
Yeah, and then 5 is the Cowboys, obviously, because the Eagles are 3. Then still in the hunt are the Bucks, the Rams, and the Seahawks. But then also you have, I mean, the playoff picture is a lot. I mean, the Bears are still in it, the Saints are still in it. Packers,
Bears
Falcons,
really. If
Vikings.
Darnell Mooney catches that pass, the Bears
Yeah.
have a chance. That's all I'm gonna say. The way they've been playing recently.
Okay, so here, let me go through mine.
And they're gonna have the first pick in the draft.
I think-
crazy.
That's
They're
gonna be a
like-
good rebuild. They just gotta get rid of Eberflus.
Yeah, and they got to trade back again. Although their defense has been better with Sweat. So.
I think, Niners I think definitely will be 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Lions at 2. I think
like
actually
that.
Lions
I
stay
agree
at
with you.
2.
I'm also gonna go with that top 2.
I think Eagles are at 3. At 4, it's either Bucks or Rams. Oh no, Rams can't make it. Sorry, so it's Bucks. I think Bucks are locked there. Then that's crazy to say that. I thought the Bucks were going to be absolutely awful this year.
I gave them a little props. I said 7 wins. I feel happy about
Yeah,
it. Like,
so I would stay with that. I go Bucks at 4, Cowboys at 5. I think I'd stick it. I think I'd go Rams 6 and Seahawks 7.
okay.
And let me look.
I
love, as someone who lives in Wisconsin for a lot of the year, I would love to see the Packers make it. And I don't think that that's impossible.
Their defense.
I think offense-wise, they're like worthy of making the playoffs, but their defense is just.
Their front
horrific.
seven's good, though. Or at least their
But it
defensive
just
line.
seems
It's just scheming.
horrible.
Joe Barry is like,
Yeah,
I don't know how he's
I'm
still
basically
there.
sticking with what it is. I'm sticking exactly how it is right
Okay,
now.
so,
So okay. Wait, who has the tiebreaker between Philly and Detroit?
it would be Detroit because they.
No, it's Philly.
No. Detroit.
Oh
lost
no,
to
but they
Chicago.
play,
Yeah.
the Cowboys next year. So
Yeah.
I pray them to lose that anyway. So I'm gonna say Niners 1, Eagles 2, because both of them I think are gonna easily
Not
beat
Lions,
their last
2.
2 team. No, because the Lions are gonna lose to the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are the best team in the league at home.
I think the Lions are going to win that game.
No,
That's tough. That's
that-
a good game.
Saturday night.
I
football.
think
Yeah.
I think Cowboys win.
New Year's Eve?
New Year's. No. New Year's Eve is Sunday, so it's the day
So
before New
it's.
Year's Eve.
Oh, okay, right.
So I think Cowboys win that because I think
Let's see
everyone
the-
because they had 2 losses on the road against good teams. Now everyone's saying, "Oh, they're a terrible team," and now they're gonna go at home, and everyone's gonna be like, "Lions upset win," but the Cowboys are just such a good team at home. They're gonna win that.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Which is-
say
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Could
say
happen.
Niners 1, Eagles 2, Lions 3, Bucks 4, Well, this is actually pretty boring. Cowboys 5, Rams 6, and Seahawks 7. Just because I think the Vikings now have just been killed by injuries with Hawkinson now being out for the year, I think,
terrible.
and
So-
MCL.
Can you just put up the schedule for the Eagles and the Vikings? Those are the two teams I'm not sure about because I don't know who I know
The
the
Eagles
have
play
Giants,
the Cards and the Giants.
so they went out. So they're
Yeah.
gonna get the 2 seed.
Nah,
They're gonna get the 2 seed.
the Giants gave him a game.
No, they did, but
The Giants
they're
gave 'em
not
a
gonna
game.
Lose any of those games, especially with who do the Vikings have?
The
Because
Vikings have
I'm
the
so-
Packers and they have the Lions.
And I think they lose
So
both.
two
Okay,
I
so
think
divisional
they lose
I
both
think
of
that
those.
solidifies it. I'm gonna go. Who do the Falcons have?
Falcons.
Falcons?
That's Falcons are
Who do-
way
no,
too
no, no, no.
inconsistent.
I need to know who they have.
Bears and the Saints.
I think they win them. Who do the Seahawks have? Because that's the one spot
Yeah.
that I'm not sure. Because that could be 2 NFC South.
Steelers and the Cardinals.
I think they win 1. So that would keep them even on record. I don't know who wins the tiebreak.
Did they play each other earlier?
Well, let's hear the picture. Let's hear the picture.
So I have the Niners at the 1, the Eagles at the 2, the Lions at the 3, the Bucks at the 4, the Cowboys at the 5, the Rams at the 6, and then the 7 I'm between the Seahawks and the Falcons.
I don't know how you could
Put
trust the
in there.
Falcons.
Throw the Falcons in
I don't
there.
know how
I
you
think I'm
could
going
trust
to. I
the.
think I'm going to throw the
I don't know
Falcons.
how
I
you
like
could
it, I
trust
like
the
it.
Falcons to win their last 3 games with
They
an
went out
Arthur
the
Smith.
last 2 weeks of their season, they went out and they looked really good.
Yeah, I like that.
Really, their last game they lost. Besides the Colts game, they lost to the Panthers
Oh, wait,
9-7.
I was thinking about the game before that against the Jets where they played really
I like
No,
that
they
play.
played the Bucks and they lost that game
I
too.
was thinking about the one against the Jets. Okay. That
And they
kinda-
won that 13-8
that
against
throws
Tim
me-
Boyle.
No, that throws me off. I'll go Seattle. I'll go
Okay,
Seattle.
thank you.
I'll go Seattle.
But one thing I
Tough,
want
though.
one thing I
Close.
want to
That'll
talk
come down
one
to
thing
it.
I want to talk about. I know it's not on the docket, but
Rashee
I think
Rice.
one thing that not Rashee Rice being a punter.
He actually, I think he might be an All-Pro punter this year.
We could
And
see
You
it.
know what's so crazy? I literally just I'm just gonna
No,
say
but
that.
the Rashard Mendenhall Bowl. That really that gives them a punter.
What happened to the black punter on the Raiders who was like really good and like
Marquette
swaggy?
King.
Marquette King,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now the only
Now
one
it's
left
Corrales,
is Presley
Bateman, and Presley Harvin. Yeah.
But
Right.
one thing that interests me, who do you think is the team? Because I know the Niners just lost, so it almost feels contradictory. But I think they're still like the best team in the NFC. Who do you think is the team that is best suited to
The
stop
Lions.
the Niners?
The Lions.
I'm gonna say. Can I say one? Because I think I have an interesting one. I'm gonna say the Rams.
I agree with you.
I'm gonna say the Rams.
Oh no, you stole it from me.
I'm gonna-
Alright,
the
don't
reason
pretend- that's
why-
not crazy. Divisional team, like they
No, I
know
know.
each other.
No, but
But I
they're a
think
6 seed.
schematically it makes
But
sense.
I think what I'm
I
saying.
think the Lions. Yeah.
Because the thing about the Rams is that they have probably 2 number 1 receivers. And I know Cooper Kupp hasn't been the same level, but he's still, I think, a great receiver. And
Is
you
he
have Puka
1,000?
Nakua, who's been, I think Puka Nakua is a top 10 receiver in
Yeah,
the NFL
I
now.
agree.
I think it's almost hard to argue that he
He's-
isn't at
Dude,
this
like,
point.
The fourth
where
leading
the
receiver.
Where did he come out?
Where did he come from?
We don't,
I don't,
BYU.
I don't
McVay
get it.
clone, like,
But that's what I mean. It's like comes from BYU and is like amazing.
but you have
he was UCLA, right? Or BYU?
BYU.
I think he
BYU.
transferred from UCLA to be.
But you have Stafford, who I think a lot of people were I was definitely kind of thinking, oh, he might be kind of
I
close
thought-
to
I
wash.
thought Stetson Bennett was
I thought
going
he was
to be
gonna
the starting
fall off.
quarterback
I thought
for the
it was a
Rams.
fall off. I didn't think that. but I
He's
thought-
been playing top what? I'd say top 10, borderline top 5 level.
Nah,
recently,
I would say borderline top 10.
recently though, he's been playing excellent
Yeah.
football. I
I
think
think Kyron Williams
so. You
is
have
good.
that.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams has been secretly one of the best backs in the
He's the second
NFL.
leading rusher in the league.
You have
Who won?
a pretty good.
CMC. Right.
You have a pretty good offensive line as well. You have a defense that has one of the best defensive players ever, and you have
Yeah.
some. Aaron Donald's
No,
definitely
that's
definitely one of the best.
I wasn't
defensive
debating
players
that. I'm
ever.
just saying
And
he's not the same.
No, he's been very good this year.
So good.
He's still an
He's
All
not
Pro,
playing as much inside. He's playing a lot.
but he's
more
still a
on-
first team
outside
All
the
Pro.
defense.
He's like, I think I'd only have him second to Dexter
Yeah.
Lawrence this year.
But I want to shed light on.
Yeah.
No, Dexter's been great.
I want to shed light on the linebacking core that the Rams have. And
Ernest Smith.
I think
Ernest Jones. Why I say Ernest Smith?
I think Ernest Jones. I was like, am I wrong here?
Nah,
Ernest
you right.
Ham?
You right.
I think
you right.
Ernest Jones has been possibly a top 5 linebacker this year. Like,
Ernest
there's
Ham?
so many.
So many good
Ham or
linebackers
Ernest
this year.
Ham?
But like you look at it, it's
Dylan.
Ernest Jones.
What
But-
about Ernest Ham?
I like Ernest Ham.
Who is Ernest Ham?
It's not a person. But like I mean, if we list it out, it's Dre Greenlaw in whatever order: Dre Greenlaw, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Ernest Jones, Fred Warner. I feel like that's
Isaiah Simmons.
what we'd see.
I would say
JOK.
Olu
JOK has been amazing.
Oluokon,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, just moving on. No,
My
just,
bad.
just like see. All right. Let's move on to let's switch let's flip the table to college football. as all people who go to powerhouse football schools.
Woo!
Besides Dylan. I mean, actually, no, I don't.
Hey, we technically, we could have beat Bama because we beat New Mexico State. New Mexico State beat Auburn, and Auburn almost beat Bama. So you know what? I take my victories where I get them.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Surge. Surge was originally committed to SUNY Potsdam, which is near us, and then Michigan accepted him onto like this kind of just like they have like a like.
You ever seen the movie Rudy?
Yeah, they kind of they kind of let people in. Like there's like
Mr. UMass over here.
There's like a 40 person. And they just like pick like random people that like, we would never actually accept this kid, but like let's just like make their
they
year.
round them up and
let's just like make their life.
Wow, thank you. So
this
is what I have to deal with every.
Earn his invitation.
It's what I have to deal with every week. It's it's horrific.
So
yeah,
besides the point, let's talk top 5 quarterbacks in college football right now. As you guys know. Obviously, we're not going to be together for the draft live stream this year, but we're still going to try and do it, and we're going to try and do draft content. But again, it is, I mean, in my opinion, it's my favorite thing we do on the show.
Yeah, I love it.
I love the draft.
I'm upset that I missed it last year.
Yeah, I loved it. Last year was no, last year was
I'm already
the one before that was an all-time year.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent
I'm going to be locked in this year. This year, I'm so locked in because of college
I know more
football.
about college football now than I ever have at this point.
And I know the prospects. Yeah, no, I'm definitely.
It's actually funny, just being in college, you just...
Yep, you know the guys.
Best cornerback Juan Lua declared for the draft.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's gonna get drafted?
Hell no.
So give me your top 10. Give me your top 5 quarterbacks. We're just gonna go down the list and then we'll have you talk and then
in college.
Yeah.
Not
in college.
I mean like
give me
this
your
year.
top 5 high school.
No, in the draft quarterback. Well, even if they're not.
That's what I'm saying. College, like this season or like in the draft.
Charlie.
What? I want to know.
I always ask a question, and they're always like,
I actually
like
don't.
right now, like with cat, like it's like
I legitimately don't. I need to know.
We had this conversation
Yeah,
before, and
we
you
don't
know the
cover
players we
college
talked
football.
about.
I like to know everything.
Yeah.
Like,
So give me your top 5 quarterbacks.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 1 Caleb. I think Caleb's like easily the best in this class.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
But
there you go. Charlie.
although I think May, I think I could see why people would make an argument for May.
So am I.
He's third.
See, I don't get that because he's 2. He's 2.
Oh, we already had
he's,
this conversation.
he's
Okay,
no
sorry.
doubt.
We'll give your list. Okay, 1 is Caleb.
1 is Caleb. I just think he's
Yeah. Move on to 2.
Okay, am I not supposed to give my explanation?
Yeah,
for why?
but like, come on.
A little bit.
Okay, I just think he's
Not
like
the
the
Surge
best
Raven.
improviser. Is the best. You mean the Surge explanation? They appreciate my insight.
Go ahead.
I think he's like
Okay,
the perfect modern improviser, the perfect like kind of I keep on saying this, but the modern NFL prototype. But I think he's like someone who kind of great getting out of structure. Like isn't someone that will take a lot of
I think
sacks.
there's a pretty good comp between him and Mahomes.
But I think he's also. I don't think he has the arm talent of Mahomes. I think he has better rushing
He's a little
ability.
Mahomey to me.
Oh, Mahomes.
But 2, I would say Drake May. I think he's definitely a great. I don't know why you hate him, but I think he's a great in-structure quarterback.
Quit yapping.
Great in-structure quarterback.
The podcast
Good
just
arm
deteriorated
strength.
as we keep.
Yeah, now y'all just.
It
I don't
starts
know,
off
why
so-
me? All right, but
It's
3.
actually-
That Michigan thing was crazy.
It's ironic because I'm not even. We might have some.
It is
new
ironic.
we
Because
have-
Surge goes to a better school than both of us.
That's not even true. No, it's not.
I'm
Come on.
close,
I'm
though.
not. That's not even true.
Yeah, you're close.
No, I mean no. College rankings are arbitrary. It
Yeah,
really
really.
doesn't like matter. But okay, we're getting.
One dining though.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually valid.
It
But,
actually is very, very
okay.
valid. God, like, I wish. Holy.
Okay, now we're just turning into a life
Yeah.
podcast. But okay, anyway, number 3, I'm gonna go Jaden Daniels. I think
I like that a lot.
I really like Jaden Daniels. I think he's like really showcased that he is a great
He won the
NFL
Heisman.
prospect. He won the Heisman, but I think you can see him. He's just Arizona State legend. He threw to
Talking about
he
great.
threw to Ayuk.
Speaking of great.
No, you should love him because he ruined Herbert's playoff chances. Yeah. So
I'm
mean,
sorry. I'm sorry. We're just going off track. Being in college for 6 years is depressing.
5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Penix's
But
been for
I think
6
you're
years.
going against. You're going. Yeah. Oh no, Bo Nix is also 5.
Yeah, like
Penix was 6 years, dude. You're like 24.
you
23.
backup
Oh
quarterback.
my God.
He's 28 years old.
Yeah, like.
Oh, what's it? Carlos
Carlos
Davis.
Davis. He's now playing at Towson for his redshirt senior year. He's gonna be 29.
Like, is that not depressing you?
Have
Oh,
some
yes, I was like,
shame.
you're not. He's a whole family, bro.
And then there was that TCU punter from Australia who was like 31.
I think we might be the only podcast other than the UMass podcast that I'm on who's mentioned Carlos Davis.
All right,
But Jaden Daniels,
Yeah.
I think,
4.
4. I'm going to go JJ McCarthy. I think he's someone that
this is where I draw the line. JJ McCarthy's not good.
Okay, why? I've watched every snap of JJ McCarthy.
I've watched every snap.
I watched every snap of Skylar Thompson when he played. Like,
Yeah, and you said he wasn't good.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, that was
a terrible
rebuttal.
argument.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna help me. That was just
you're right.
awful.
That was bad.
I've watched every snap.
I've watched every snap of Luke Falk.
I've watched every snap of who's the dude on the Washington team the receiver who
Steven Sims.
and then out of nowhere some dude whose name was Steve. It was crazy. Sorry,
Steven Sims burn.
JJ McCarthy. This is what he
still
does,
hate
and keep in mind we
We
don't do a lot of visual.
We remember you from 2020.
We don't do a lot of visual representations on this podcast, but this is JJ McCarthy.
That's
Blake Corum is good.
You deserve the Heisman.
okay. But when you actually watch him, I'm gonna give an explanation.
I just don't think he has to be a successful
because
guy in the NFL. That's honestly.
I
what it
think
comes
he's
down
got-
to, and
I
I
mean,
think it's the same with Bo Nix.
I think he's got a good arm, not a great arm, but he's got a good arm. He's played in an NFL system with an NFL level coach in Jim Harbaugh, who will possibly be an NFL coach next season. He has good intermediate level accuracy.
No team should do that.
I mean, with the other options, I could see
Harbaugh?
that.
When was the last time a college coach came in and did well?
Matt Rule.
I would say
Pittsburgh.
Jimmy Johnson went from Miami to the Dallas Cowboys and won
yeah.
3 Super Bowls.
Yeah. That was what 19.
People remember
90s.
that. I know who that is.
I remember that.
I do. I actually.
I actually
know who that
did.
is.
But
I knew that is.
also, well, can I say defensive coordinator?
No, it's a head coach.
This might be the worst we've ever gotten topic. Well, because this is
But
JJ McCarthy.
Okay, but anyway, JJ McCarthy, I think he's got a good arm.
Cap.
He's okay. If you're gonna say cap to everything, then I'm not gonna go on. Let me
I
finish.
don't disagree with that. I'm sorry.
He's got a good arm. He's good. He's also good at getting out of the pocket and not taking sacks.
That's true.
He's good and accurate inside the pocket. I think one of the things that is left to be desired is I don't think his deep accuracy is kind of very inconsistent. Non-existent is crazy. He's made some good deep throws, but it's inconsistent. But I think if for someone that throws kind of intermediate, most of the throws anyway a quarterback will make is intermediate and short.
Agreed.
So I think that's fine. I think also that's something that will be developed.
As a two
He's
fan, you
also
can't really
only-
do that.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
If
when-
they were
when
to
it fits
disagree
your
with that,
agenda,
yeah.
you can play that.
Yeah, he's also only 20 years old. I think for that
wow.
reason he's.
I didn't even know that.
But okay. I thought you were actually gonna say that ironically, but you're saying that unironically. So I appreciate that. But anyways, okay, quarterback 5. Since we've taken so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really like any of the quarterbacks. I'm gonna say Penix just because I
is
think
Quinn
in an
Ewers going to declare?
no,
No, right?
Well, I think Penix
There
in
is
an
no-
Did I
RPA.
see that Arch Manning gets paid more than Brock Purdy?
That's
I
crazy.
saw that.
Yeah.
I did see that.
But although he probably gets paid in endorsements, so,
Yeah, no, he has to.
But with Penix, I think he's someone that's probably the most accurate quarterback in this class. But I think he's someone that I think under pressure really concerns me. Also, a decent sized injury history.
Yeah.
So I think if you put him in a system where he gets the ball out fast, like a West Coast system, I think he would be fine. But I think other than that, it's a very risky pick. I think he's a day 2 pick.
For me, Penix was my 1B at the start of
Wow.
this process. He's not anymore because
Yeah.
I have looked into him. I mean, it's really.
It's not even that. Yes, this season's
It's not
fantastic.
bad.
I
I
just
just
think
think-
it's very unjust to put him at 1, considering
Yeah.
he really has only had one.
He's had
good
1
season.
year and he's
Six-
old and he's
yeah.
injured and.
Yeah,
But we'll see how he does in the college football.
I'm excited
playoffs.
for that.
I
Texas
think- I think
Texas are an NFL level.
this is my this is the
defense.
most excited I've ever been for a college football playoff.
Free FSU, but we go
Doesn't make
1. It's Caleb Williams.
Yep.
2, I think Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
Oh.
I bet me and Dylan are
I'm
gonna
not.
have the same
I don't even hate that because I really like Jaden.
3, I'll say May, but
Yep.
begrudgingly, I'm gonna say May.
Why do you hate on May?
Because I really don't see it in him. Like,
Okay, but what do you not see? Like, what specifically? Like,
Yeah, because we
have
didn't
you
hate on
watched-
Charlie for saying about Caleb, so we actually do have to.
No,
Get
Yeah,
no,
you have to give
no,
me an
and-
explanation.
And I probably don't have as good of an argument as I should
Yeah.
for the amount that I've kind of belittled him. But just based on what I've saw eye test, I feel like he's just a good college quarterback, and I'm kind of playing the.
Which I think I think you can argue that literally everyone in this
But
class
if your argument that
Caleb,
he's not a prospect is that he's a good quarterback isn't exactly very.
No. But I haven't given my whole argument.
Okay.
That's the first part of it. I think that he's had a very good college career, but it's also a system in North Carolina where there's a lot of pieces that are going to the NFL, and you're playing against defenses that really aren't.
No, North Carolina do not have a good offense.
Brown, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter.
Javonte Williams, I don't think wasn't there when May was starting. No, he wasn't.
1 year.
No, he wasn't.
But
No, he wasn't. Javonte Williams, no.
No, because Javonte was our sophomore.
Diami, I don't even think so too, because
Yeah,
Diami was
Diami was
2020.
No, Diami was 2021.
Josh Downs though.
Okay, Josh
Josh
Downs.
Downs.
That's one piece.
Diami and Javonte were.
We also saw Sam Howell with that, but Sam Howell was playing terribly because North Carolina as a whole wasn't a very good supporting cast overall.
But I think that team's better now. And I
So
also,
you're
I
just
disagree.
proving why Drake May's not good then.
That doesn't even make
but,
sense.
But that's also not the best argument I can have. So I will say that. But I also just think, in terms of upside, which is what teams draft for.
Okay, no, that's
What teams draft for now, you see a much higher upside in any style of offense for a guy like Caleb Williams or a guy like Jaden Daniels. And
that's fair. That's fair. I see that.
and I really just don't think that, like, you go in. I think Drake May's an uninspired pick for whoever you go in. Like, if you're the Patriots, you want.
I think there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that compare him. There are a lot of people that compare
I
him.
feel like it's like a Kenny Pickett pick.
No, I wouldn't say that. Look, I think the people that compare
You're
him to
definitely not saying that because they just had a white quarterback.
No,
and he
it's really not. I was trying to find someone else.
I think the people that compare him to like
not saying I
Justin Herbert
disagree with
are crazy.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, I think he does have plus arm talent.
Yeah,
also.
definitely.
Sure.
And he's also a tall quarterback.
I mean, I'm putting him third because I would have put it, like, being my ignorant self, I would have put him fifth before. But I've done research. I've looked into it. I think he's third.
But here's the
not
thing.
Dylan of old
But
draft days.
here's the thing. Also, what I will say about that is that if you go back to C.J. Stroud last year, you would say also that he's like kind of the same. Where like
I had
he's
Stroud
not.
second, though.
No, I love Stroud. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to like put down Stroud at all because I love.
I had Richardson first.
Oh, I had Richardson ahead of him also.
Yeah.
But I love.
Which honestly-
I love Stroud. But I think one thing about Stroud is that people say, "Oh, he's just a typical pocket passer that doesn't have a lot of upside." But he's someone that is amazing at maneuvering inside the pocket, which I think is a huge trait nowadays. He's also someone that can throw the
Did
ball.
you see that in May that much though? Maneuvering in the pocket. I mean, I haven't watched enough tape on him yet. I mean, I've seen
definitely.
enough to make an opinion, but I haven't seen enough.
And I think just
specifically.
because I know a lot of people say Caleb is the out of structure quarterback and May is the in structure quarterback, but May I've seen him make more than a few crazy out of structure
But
plays.
Yeah.
even specifically, how good is May in structure?
He's good.
No, I know he's good, but to me, in structure is more important than out of structure. And I would rather see.
I wonder why.
I mean, that's just general sense. You would rather have a quarterback that can make 80% of the plays and not 20 than that can make 20% of the plays and not 80. In structure is most of the game. But I would say
50-50.
it's not 50-50, but
I would say 60-40, 70-30.
that's fine. But I had Michael Penix ahead of him.
Who's
before.
four?
I had
Penix?
Michael Penix at 4.
So he's dropped.
And then, yeah, he has dropped because.
And 5 is
It's really
Nix.
not because of his play. 5, I have Bo Nix, but it's him and McCarthy.
Damn,
like,
JJ hate
they're like
is
the same.
crazy.
No, it's not even hate. They're both Dave 2 picks.
He's gonna prove you wrong.
He might, but they're both Day 2 picks.
He will.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I need to watch more film.
Yeah,
Because
me too. I
agree. I definitely
I do
take
say
ownership
that.
of
But
that.
based on what I've seen, my 1 is Caleb. My 2 is Jaden Daniels. Recently. 3 is Drake May. 4 would be Penix. And my 5 would be Nix.
Oh, so it's the exact same.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up.
It's a bit chaotic
Nah.
for a minute. For a minute when we talked about
but
UMass
just until the
dining.
end. Thank you
That's
all
what it's
so
about,
much
though.
for
Exactly.
watching and listening as you slowly saw us sink into the couch. Hey, that would be a good sink into the couch. Nah, that's a terrible name.
No. If I saw a podcast
Yeah.
sink into the
You
couch,
just
I
think
would
it's like
probably
4
not
fat
watch it.
men.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mukbang where like
I'm
you eat
here
it.
to talk about my favorite tortilla chips. What's your favorite?
Today we have my McDonald's order. 9 burgers. You ever see those people
Big
where it's
Mac.
like,
They're
all
like
right,
a
guys,
bu-
today we got McDonald's. I got 15 cheeseburgers.
It's like called like a mukbang or something.
Four-
like
yeah,
that,
and it's
right?
like,
Where you're
what?
like,
And then it's like a
I
minute-
got-
milkshake.
and it's
I
like a
got
minute of them
5
just, like,
Whoppers.
speeding.
It's like spells.
and they're like so fat, like you can see like the neck rolls. It's like,
I don't know if we can say this.
Yes, we can.
yeah, come on. Okay, it's like 10 people are gonna watch the whole thing.
to the
Hey,
30
we've
of you
been
that
gaining.
enable.
We've gained like 100 more views. We underestimate it. Our
No.
podcasts don't do great, but like
Our clips do well.
Really?
clips do very
I
well.
love how we're talking about this on camera.
We're gonna keep this in, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Thank you all
This
so
is
much
the
for
real
watching
us,
and
from the start to the
listening.
end.
Once again, if you made it to the end of this and you're not subscribed,
You're a
I don't
hero.
even
Oh
know.
no, you're not.
Yeah, like you probably are one of those people who does the mukbangs. So thank you, and you just like couldn't reach
Yo,
the
whoever
keyboard to
wins
pause
poker is the thumbnail of the video. We in?
That's an after recording. Thank you all so much for
All
watching.
right.
Key McDermott, Dylan Shalom, Suraj Kadali. We're on the come up, man.
Real shit.
We're on the come up.
Yes, sir.
So make sure you subscribe, guys, to 2000, as you know what Suraj will do.
Y'all gotta do
Maybe
something
we'll run
because
into
that's
JJ
like,
McCarthy.
I'm not doing anything. You're the one who volunteered.
I didn't volunteer.
Yes,
you
did.
volunteered for
You
me.
absolutely volunteered. That was completely
you
you.
volunteered.
You volunteered. You said, and I quote, "I will run across Michigan Field if
I will
we get
spend all of my money to get to the game, and I will do it.
I will do it on live television, and I will." No, I can't say that.
That'll end it. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Nice.